There's a question founders ask themselves that they really rarely ask out loud. Who am I as a founder in this business right now? Look, you've built this business, you love it, and you do it again and again. And somehow you've ended up at the centre of something that can't move without you. And you can't work out how that's happened, or really more importantly, how to change it. So I want to explain about what actually is going on. And I'm going to do that with something that has nothing at all to do with businesses. I want you to imagine a human being. We'll start at birth. We won't bother going back any further than that. Now listen, a baby needs you completely. The sleepless nights, the endless feeds, the moments you miss because you're simply too tired to go out. And it's beautiful, genuinely. Even when everyone else can see that perhaps as ugly as the baby or whatever, it's yours and it's perfect. That's the beginning, that total dependence, and it's exactly right. Nobody looked at a mother holding a newborn and saying, well, she really does need to delegate more. That closeness is the point. Then that baby, it becomes a toddler. It still needs you. Every decision about its life still comes back to you. How will you grow? What values do I hold that I believe that you'll benefit from? Where do you go? What will you be exposed to? Where will you learn? And you're still on a very narrow path, a very defined path. You know, maybe you do read a book and at 2 a.m. when you're cursing that book, following the advice about crying it out, sitting at the bottom of the garden going, please, please stop. But it's still, you're starting to gather other information. But still, everything runs through you. Still that perfect for that stage. But notice what's happening. The path is narrow because you made it narrow. And you made it narrow because that's what a toddler needs. But then something really starts to change. More influences arrive, teachers, friends, school. And by the teenage years, the gap between you and that child is pretty visible. Hobbies you didn't choose, interests you don't share, passions that take them towards specialists, people who generally know more than you do about the thing that they care about. You know, there's friends who shaped them. Some for the good and some not. They take steps, they evolve, and your relationship changes, you let go. But here's what you don't let go of. The values, the beliefs, the rituals, and the story. Those stay, and they share the path rather than control it. The narrow path has widened. The golden thread of purpose and value holds. And you've changed too. Because you've become someone that they come, for a view, a steer, a bigger question, rather than someone who decides everything. That's not distance, that's the relationship maturing. Now, look at your business and look at it honestly, with the relationship you have with it, the narrow path, the holding on, the loving it, even when it's, an ugly baby and it needs to let go. Because it's yours and you want to see what it becomes. All of that was right at the start. But if you never widen the path, it stays exactly where it is, always relying on you, never leaving you, which means that you can never take on that new role, sort of evolving yourself into a different position. You're always at the centre. And that's the moment founders start asking that quiet question. Who am I? I feel trapped. Who have I become? But you're not trapped by your business. You're trapped by the relationship with it that never really grew up. And here's the part that kind of hurts. A business that never has been nurtured with new influences, new people, ideas, specialists who know more than you, never learns to feed itself. So it keeps knocking at your door. Feed me, not because it's failing, but because it's never been given anything else to draw upon. 3 things. So what actually widens the path? Well, let's look at the three things. The things that you get really 80% of the problems are solved if you can align these three things. How you're organised, who does what, where responsibility sits, where you're positioned in it. This is where you stop being the only adult in the room. And secondly, how do you create value? Bringing in people that know more about it for their part, the specialists, the functional expertise, exactly the way a teenager finds coaches and mentors who can go deeper than a parent can. And thirdly, how decisions are made. Not you deciding, how decisions are made, doesn't come back for your approval. That's the golden thread it's doing its job, that values journey. Three things that generally covers most of it. And here's what changes. And here's what happens when they are right. Your relationship with your business will change. It stops needing you for everything and starts needing you for the things that only you can do. You get to move into the work that you're actually best at, the work that you started this for. The business stops knocking constantly on your door. And that's the question. Who am I in this? We'll get a completely different answer. And that's the most important thing. Letting go was never the goal. The goal is what a good parent does. You keep the values, the belief, the vision, the purpose, the stories, the rituals, and you widen the path. And you let the thing you built become that version of you. So here's what to sit with today. Where is my business still on that narrow path? The one only I can walk it down. That's the place to start. If you want to understand which of these three needs can need to be moving first and that misalignment, the free 8-day experience is a great day to start. And it will bring you a different perception on how to begin to look at your business from this narrow path to how you take those first steps to widen it. I hope to see you there.